Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God. It is Monday, July 26th. I'm with the man who invented the bushwhacker. It's a secret family recipe. Ask his dad. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way in Nashville, Tennessee, the man, the myth, the legend, the human Fitbit Lee Howison.
One of these days, I'm going to give you just as good of an intro.
It's never going to happen. That was awful. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trolling the Territory. This is a podcast hosted by two jaded, I can't do Vince today, sorry, guys, lapsed fans, where we talk about an entire week of wrestling, the majority of which did not happen in the ring. It happened outside of the ring. And by God, we're going to talk about it. Yeah, second week with fans back, and a lot more is happening outside of the ring. But first off, Lee, it's been a few days. What the hell did you do this week? Or this past week, I should say.
I had a show with the Love and Theft boys in Iowa at do you know where Okoboji, Iowa is?
That sounds like somewhere you go and you get an itch when you leave. Where is that?
That's great. You know what?
Okoboji.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. It's kind of like it's the Percy Priest of the Midwest.
The Percy. Okay.
It's
all
like,
right. That went a different direction.
Yeah, all of the unsavory types get their boats and go out on the lake. It's just like a lake town. And
okay.
It's as they can't go to the beach. That's their thing. And so we played a show out there. I mean, it was fun, but man, did we see a lot more flesh than I wanted to see. Let's just put it that way.
Oh man, I have been there. I have jokingly from the jump seat made the gesture to and I've been the recipient of said gesture back and was like, I did not expect that. What's the quote from Borat? Hang like sleeve of wizard.
Like sleeve of wizard.
Right. How was catering though? That's a thing that's very important if anybody's promoting shows. Catering is crucial. How was it?
Okay. So the thing about this show is that it was put on by the whole marina put on the show. So it wasn't really set up like catering. It was There are 3 restaurants on site, and we just got to pick whatever we want all day. So
that's sick.
The food was really good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Food was fantastic. So I can't complain. That was the only thing I can't complain about. What did you get into this weekend?
Oh my God. Exactly. It's like I said a minute ago, off air before we started, it hasn't rained that much here in East Tennessee. And we've also, you guys have had it over in Nashville, the smoke clouds and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It hasn't rained here in almost 2 weeks. And I feel like every dad is like, I know what that's like. You know, like we're all, like, I saw some meme the other day. It was this dude standing in his yard with a monsoon drinking a White Claw dressed in like Columbia gear. He's like, oh, this is really good. This is going to be great for the grass. And the caption was like, every dad.
I think you said that to me. It was great.
Yeah, it's so good. Hopefully that's going to change today. Man, we really just did a bunch of stuff around the house and, just shedding on tunes and playing on tunes, just the normal thing. Life is slow at the moment, and it's all right. Yeah, it was not bad.
You know what? In better news, why don't we tell everybody that this past week, both you and I celebrated our birthdays.
Hey, listen. Well, how old are you now?
37.
37. Okay. How old am I?
Only you can answer that.
Yeah. I think I'm 36. Yeah,
Sure.
I'm 36. Okay.
85.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. You're exactly right. Yep. I had to tell Google that just now. I'm serious, folks. It's a blur these days.
That's amazing.
Well, let's talk about some wrestling news, shall we? Since we are talking about being back in front of crowds, Cena is back in front of crowds like crazy. I didn't know this was happening until I read about it. I don't remember where I read about it, but Cena literally, it's the Super Summer Cena Sizzler Tour. The
Is
Summer
that
of
what it's
Cena.
called?
No, it's called the Summer of Cena.
Okay.
I wish it was called that.
Cena Sizzler.
Yeah, the Cena Sizzler Tour. Jim Cornette would have a breakdown. Friday, he was on SmackDown at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland. Then he did the Super Show, which is a house show, Saturday the 24th and 25th. They did PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, the Yum Center in Louisville. Monday, that's tonight, he is going to be at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City.
Cool.
He's going to be on SmackDown at the Target Center in Minneapolis. Love that building. The 31st, he's in Milwaukee, Detroit, Tampa, Fort Myers, Orlando, Tulsa, Charlotte, Columbia, South Carolina, Phoenix, and then SummerSlam in Las Vegas. The last event Cena worked was where he defeated Baron Corbin in a no DQ match in Huntsville, Alabama. Apparently, was the last time he'd worked a live event. Mind numbing. 2019 against Baron Corbin. I say all this Cena stuff, and nobody really cares about Baron Corbin. Let's be real.
No,
I don't even think Baron Corbin cares. Look at him.
Right.
But The Rock is apparently supposed to be back for Survivor Series.
Is this confirmed?
So, Talk Sport, if you scroll down on the news vibes, Talk Sport is saying that WWE confirmed plans for Hollywood Star on both Raw and SmackDown after Survivor Series. So apparently there's going to be a huge hoopla at Survivor Series about this being The Rock's 25th year in sports entertainment. And apparently he's supposed to come back at Survivor Series and to do Raw and SmackDown, kind of initiating a start for a role to WrestleMania, where The Rock and
you and I have spoken about this before. We said that as it would be a kind of fairy tale thing if they managed to pull it off. So I'm wondering if everything's just rumor at this point, especially with that guy. Like the guy is so busy.
Yeah,
he's again the highest paid actor in Hollywood this year.
Well, with him being the highest paid actor, him having a lot of financial capabilities, I don't see why it's unreasonable to assume that Dwayne Johnson could be filming a movie, handling PR for said movie, and also wrestle at the same time. I don't, you know what I mean? There is nothing stopping him from doing that. Look at him.
Before when he did the whole, the first Cena match where he got injured in the match and they had to delay filming. Like, I guess I forget personally how far along he has come as just a powerhouse in Hollywood, because now he's funding all of his own movies. So it's like if he gets injured, it's like, I don't care. We'll just delay filming. I don't give a shit. I'm going to pay for it anyway. So So I guess you're kind of right in that respect. He can fund whatever he wants.
Yeah, so. and it's like he can get on a plane instantly. There could be, at this point, he could have his own plane that is amphibious. You know what I mean? Like it's not a big deal. Not that there's a status of wealth or anything.
No, not at all. What are you talking about?
Not at all. I am going to save one tidbit of news. Was there one thing that you wanted to talk about? You said something about before we started. We talking about Matt Cardona winning the GCW championship, and you brought up something that was hilarious. What was the thing that overshadowed the fucking Olympics?
I don't know what's happening in wrestling. I think when I read you this, I think I'm finally getting to the point where I'm realizing that I'm just getting old and out of touch. Matt Cardona wins the GCW championship against Nick Gage, and we'll talk about him, I'm sure, a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though I don't want to. And it trends #1 on Twitter over the Olympics and UFC.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Did you see or hear anything about that match at all?
I saw pictures of the blood everywhere. I saw the garbage in the ring afterwards. I just don't. I don't get it. Why? I don't care.
Yeah. I will tell you this. There were a couple of interesting, funny things that happened that I heard
what's
about.
happening right behind me right now. Are you seeing this? Sorry.
It's real life, man. Look at them. Those are good dogs.
Yep, that bone's coming right here so they can stop.
So now we're just going to stare at it, Dad. Yeah. So apparently, this whole Matt Cardona thing happened when he showed up to GCW acting like Jon Moxley and beat up somebody and then ripped his mask off. And it was like,
I saw that.
Oh, that's Zack Ryder? What?
He did the...
So, yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious. And, I'd heard him in an interview talk about how much fun that was just to do something different like that at somewhere that nobody really expected him to go to, which was GCW. I thought for sure he was going to stick around in AEW, but
yeah,
they're apparently saving their money, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So apparently when he wrestled Nick Gage, halfway through the match, somebody queued up Judas.
What?
By Fozzy, and that caused a distraction. And then somebody else came out to the ring and did a double turn and low blowed Nick Gage. And yeah, it's just like this whole thing of just burning through a story arc. And we'll talk about a story arc on SmackDown because I don't know what happened this week on SmackDown. I'm confused. But that's just, hey, congratulations, Matt Cardona. You got a championship. I think he's great. I don't understand why he's there, but I guess he's happy. So good for him. Nick Gage, don't care about you, brother. You're weird.
Yeah.
Just going to leave it at that. I hope you have a great life, but you're weird. I tell you one thing that's really weird. Vince McMahon is about to have a Netflix special.
Okay, I saw that you wrote that, so I did read about this. So it is on. It's going to be on Netflix because I didn't see that written anywhere.
Okay, let me see here. So Blumhouse Television and WWE are grappling with a scripted series about wrestling chief Vince McMahon. The two companies have teamed up to develop the United States of America versus Vince McMahon. Mm-hmm. First off, that's a great title.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Yep.
The first scripted portrayal of the chairman and CEO of World Wrestling Entertainment. It is the latest project featuring the colorful character WWE is working with the Ringer's Bill Simmons to produce a multi-part docuseries about McMahon for Netflix.
Okay, so I just skimmed over that. I must have missed that. Okay, so it's for Netflix. That's going to be that'll be huge.
Well, I want to read this one other passage. The United States of America versus Vince McMahon will delve into WWE during the 1990s. At the time, Rupert Murdoch had purchased the New York Post. For years, Post writer Phil Mushnick regularly hammered McMahon in his column with headlines like "Legislators give WWE a free pass on roids," and "McMahon skips through the cemetery," eventually capturing the attention of the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. In 1994, the U.S. government indicted McMahon for allegedly supplying anabolic steroids to WWE talent. McMahon stood trial and was acquitted unanimously by a jury of his peers and went on to build a multi-billion-dollar global sports entertainment empire. Yes, he did. That's going to be awesome. But what's also going to be awesome, so as of July 23rd, in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer gave some updates on AEW potentially signing two big free agents in Daniel Bryan and CM Punk.
Yeah.
Now, this was originally... This news was basically announced to be like, no, it's done. Right. It's not a matter of if, but when kind of thing. Mm-hmm. My belief that if it was not for the pandemic, Danielson would already be wrestling in New Japan by now, unless a deal was made with WWE or AEW, where he promised them the first appearance and match back, since the AEW or WWE money offers would be so much higher, and thus it was a virtual lock. He was ending up in one place or another, which is what Meltzer said.
Oh, okay.
Meltzer said a WWE source tells him that internally the belief is that Punk has signed with AEW. Again, nobody's on TV yet.
Sure.
Nobody's tweeting about it. I can't get excited about it. Although the Young Bucks comment on Punk and Bryan Danielson, I don't know which one said this, but of course everyone wants to work with the company that we started and named. Makes sense. We're trendsetters and trailblazers. Duh. They wrote in another bio followed by, are the rumors true? I don't know. We just hope they'll take our finish well. Listen, say what you will. That's pretty goddamn funny.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think if they're, I think they've went all in on their gimmick. Nope, pun intended.
Yeah, they don't. That's them. That's for sure them.
But who do you put in the ring with them? With CM Punk or Daniel Bryan? Everybody's kind of wrapped up in a storyline. Everybody worth noting, right?
It doesn't matter. It changes from week to week. I don't think.
Here we go.
Well, it does. Like they don't have any build, which is why it really surprises me. But then again, the more I think about it, the more it really doesn't surprise me, because Daniel Bryan has always been very upfront about the fact that he just wants to be in good wrestling matches. So I don't think story means jack shit to him, which is fine. I think he's always been pretty upfront about that, and that's great. That's half the reason why he wants to go to wrestle in Japan, because it's about the matches. It's not about the build up to them, and that's great. What the surprising thing for me is CM Punk. To me, after everything he said about bad TV, about being on just another wrestler on bad TV, it really surprises me that he's choosing either WWE or AEW. Just, I don't know. The one is bad, the other one is bad light.
Let me ask you this: which one's bad light?
AEW.
Okay.
Like that's it. And so to me, it cheapens everything that he said about bad wrestling, bad modern wrestling. And I think it's also really kind of, again, egotistical to think if his reasoning is, oh well, I can change it. I think that's really egotistical too.
I mean, that's, we don't really know if that's his mentality.
Well, he just wants the payday now.
Well,
suddenly the money matters. Is that the?
Well, I mean, he's been calling, and we're still referring about CM Punk.
Yeah,
he's been referring to current product as fake a lot.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's an exciting time to be a pro wrestling fan, because the emotion that you're trying to convey is a battle, right? It's a scripted fight. Mm-hmm. He's the best, or was the best. I don't know how he is anymore. That's a scary thing. We don't know. Like, we saw Bryan Danielson at WrestleMania, got stacked and pinned on top of another opponent. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. It was a great match. I'm sure they're both still in great shape. I want Bryan Danielson as a earth-loving hippie heel. I want CM Punk as a shooter. Are we going to get that at AEW?
Well, CM Punk is in his 40s now.
Yeah.
So a shooter, I don't see it happening. He's probably going to be wrestling in a different style because he's older.
He's in better shape than Jericho. Let's just say that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's not hard though, is it?
I'm probably in better shape than Jericho.
I guarantee that you are. He's looks awful, but I just mean as far as stamina goes, you lose that. especially you went into training for MMA is a very different thing because you're not going for 20 minutes. And then to come back after, this is the better part of 10 years, I guarantee you he's going to be moving differently. Especially with the way modern wrestling is now, it's like 100 miles per second. He already knows that he would have to wrestle differently. But I don't know. With Daniel Bryan, why would this earth-loving why would he bring back that character when he's expressly said that he wants to wrestle less and other places? I mean, he's going to be spread very thin because he's not going to be doing a lot of dates. He's said many, many times over the past couple of years of him dwindling down his career, he said, I would love to be able to do all this through. Do you remember him saying I'd love to be able to do all of this through WWE if they're open to us working with other wrestlers? If they have let him go to AEW to do this, I think it is incredibly short-sighted of them, especially since you've got people like Triple H saying we're open for business. And if Vince is the one ultimately, whether it's Vince or Nick Khan that making that decision, saying no, we're not going to do it, and then you lose a guy like Daniel Bryan, you're a fucking idiot.
I would love to know what the reason is. There's got to be some kind of reason where the people that are for it are like, you've got to be kidding me, and the people that are against it are saying the same thing, like, you've got to be kidding me. This is the only roadblock in the way of us.
Yeah.
Completely change. I mean, a lot of this brand supremacy, and it is so. I didn't know how toxic it was until we may have had some interactions on Twitter. You should go look at our feed. There were a couple of people that we really pissed off.
I'm not sorry.
I'm not either. But it's a very just even have a discussion. It feels a little unsafe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of a bummer. And I think a lot of that is stemming from the fact that we can't have those conversations. Yeah. I think because the people that are in charge are having those conversations for us. Yeah. And they're explaining their sides of the story, but it's also veiled in like, it's pro wrestling. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. And this is 100% WWE's fault. This is 100% Vince's fault for creating this aura around the WWE that they exist to monopolize and to destroy other companies, and they won't give any other airtime to anybody else that doesn't promote WWE first, you know, and that's their fault. When you have a germ like Tony Khan with unlimited payroll, waiting in the shadows, lurking in the shadows to basically pay whatever any wrestler wants, why would you let go of people like Daniel Bryan?
Well, I mean, sometimes you probably don't have a choice to let go of somebody like Daniel Bryan. And I think somebody like him, Daniel Bryan, has kind of checked all the boxes in one spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what else there was left for him to do in WWE that he hasn't already done.
We just said.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. If that is the roadblock.
Yeah.
Seriously? Like, invite this talent in.
Yeah. Yeah. There's what's the, from Breaking Bad where he's, where Walter White is looking at an apartment. I think this was like later in the show where he had like completely moved out from Skylar, and he's in the apartment and it's completely furnished, and he was like, I'll take it. And he's like, oh, this is a model. And he was like, I want this one though.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, yeah, we don't do that. He's like, tell me something that isn't negotiable.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh God.
Yeah.
Fuck, that show was great.
It was really good.
I will say this, we're talking about something that is not that far away with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan at All Out, which is September 5th at Hoffman Estates, the Now Arena. I'm looking at Ticketmaster right now. There are 4 tickets available, and they are both on the entrance ramp. They're official platinum seats. Section A, row 7, seat 1 and 2. And then we also have Section G, row 7, seats 12 and 13, literally on either side of the entrance ramp. Those seats are the Section G, which is on the right side of the entrance, $2,504 a ticket.
Yeah.
Section A, $2,004. I really hope that Green Smiles guy's there. That guy, dude, I a lot of respect for him. Well, okay, we'll put it this way. I would love for, and even Omega said something about it, talking to Daddy Meltzer, where he was, like, yeah, I would love for that to be a thing. You know, I would love to see Roman Reigns and Kenny Omega. I'd love to see Ricochet versus Orange Cassidy. That'd be fun. Why wouldn't it be? It's two people that you didn't think you'd ever see together. Sure. And it would probably, they're both really good. I'll just be honest. But enough about my fantasy booking. Any other news vibes that you wanted to discuss?
What else happened? Well, I thought it was very telling that Canyon Ceman is gone from WWE after 10 years.
Who the hell is Canyon Ceman?
He is the vice president of talent development in WWE. And after 10 years, he is now gone. So
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, when big movements like that are happening, then you start to think maybe they're starting to be a little worried, and maybe they're starting to listen. Again, when you have somebody with a seemingly unlimited budget that will just throw money at everything and doesn't care, he's not thinking 10 years down the line, he's not thinking 5 years down the line, he's just getting from pay-per-view to pay-per-view and signing everybody. So to me, this is the platform that we live in now for pro wrestling. It is different. I think that they need. This is probably part of the reason this whole what's it called? Rollout Fest. What?
Oh yeah. Yep. The Rolling Loud.
Rolling
Festival.
Loud. That's it. That's Rolling Loud. That's probably part of the reason they're doing things like that now. Is it's just whatever you can find that's going to stick, and however you can get more eyes on the product. And
that was so weird. I can't wait to talk about it. Did you see that? It was like a B stage. The whole video wall on stage left just collapsed.
Yeah.
It happened. Nobody was injured. It happened when they were setting everything up the week leading up to it. This whole thing. I didn't see why. I was trying to look on local news sources to see what happened, or at least see who was responsible for that. Because I know that at least in the Southeast, PGP and Spectrum do a lot of trussing work, and I didn't know whose it was.
I want to let's remember this.
Okay.
When we keep saying it, we're going to get Jake on the show.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I messaged him on Facebook not that long ago. I think he was commenting on my birthday post or something like that, and just said happy birthday. I said, I hope you're well. And he commented back saying, I'm here building the set for Rolling Loud Fest or whatever it is. So whoa. I want to know. Let's remember to ask him. I want to know what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he was there. He was building that set, which, at a music festival, that's how do you do that?
Hey man, how do you set up when a changeover, depending on the festival, can be anywhere from an hour down to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And from the looks of it, the stage they were on, some big stages like the Merriweather Post Pavilion, it's a giant wood circle that spins, so you can lower your third electric backdrop, set up an entirely different performance with a different tie-in that goes straight out to front of house and monitors. You can be line checking those people while someone else is on the other side of the stage actually playing a show. Then that curtain lifts, the stage spins, drops down. That was probably the fastest change I've ever played.
Yeah.
And you can't, from what I could tell, that was a straight pull it onto the deck, pull it off the deck.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's not something. Yeah, I'm super curious. How did that all go down? But let's talk about what did go down.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh. Let's just blister straight through it here. We're not even going to take no break, huh?
I don't need one.
Fuck it. Let's go. Yeah. So, Canyon Seaman.
Do you want to go in chronological order? Or do you want to?
I do.
Okay. All right.
Let's start with Raw.
Okay.
Let's just go with our both of our tap outs.
Tap outs first.
There. Yeah, let's do tap outs first.
Okay.
I'm gonna give mine.
Out. Okay,
you go first. Yeah.
You go.
Okay. My tap out is Reginald as the 24/7.
Oh,
champion.
Same. Amazing.
Yeah. Okay. But I had a second tap out.
I have a count out, which is
okay.
What was yours?
Okay, tap out 2 for me was Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler versus Tamina and Natalya for what seems like this is what hell is. It's Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Tamina and Natalya
over and over
again.
This is what hell is. Okay. So my tap out in its entirety was women's tag match purely to set up Reginald for the 24/7 title. So it's all the same.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
There used to be. Look, go ahead.
Oh, no, continue. If this is about them, for sure.
It is about them.
Okay.
There was a time where Nia Jax was in the men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Getting 619'd by Rey Mysterio.
That sounds.
And RKO'd by Randy Orton.
Yeah.
I want us to get back to that place.
Yeah.
But in a shoot. No. I all of the women in this match are great. Nia Jax, she's unsafe. Sure, I guess. I don't know. I'm not in the ring with her. I don't know.
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler has a very credited background. Tamina, obviously, the lineage with her, Natalya, same story. It's just a bummer that all 4 of these women are subjected to such a horrible storyline, a horrible match. And the only thing that's over about that whole segment was the fact that a guy that used to do Cirque du Soleil won the 24/7 championship.
Exactly.
Stop it. This is so dumb.
Yeah.
Just leave him off TV. Yeah. At that point, there's nothing good happened to benefit anybody in that match. Nothing.
Correct.
Nothing.
Speaking of nothing good happening to benefit anybody, my count out for Raw was Karrion Kross's debut versus Jeff Hardy.
Okay. Explain to me why people care about this so much.
What in the fucking fuck?
Okay. I've seen everybody get pissed off about this. I don't understand what the debate of it, what the concern is.
Firstly, you have a beautiful, and it's not even the loss, okay? You have a beautiful opportunity, golden opportunity to introduce your NXT monster, who eventually is going to be on one of these shows, Raw or SmackDown. And you have him debut without Scarlett, who arguably makes that entrance. It makes the whole demeanor. She is great as his valet,
Sure.
So without her, and that takes away part of the mystique. And then you have Jeff Hardy win really quickly in a roll up situation.
Again, neither of those dudes matter.
Dude, Karrion Kross matters.
Okay, I believe you, but
Karrion Kross matters. Jeff Hardy doesn't matter.
I don't
can't
watch
sit here
NXT.
and say Orange Cassidy matters, but Karrion Kross, the NXT champion, doesn't matter.
It's a completely different show.
But it's a
completely different show. But AEW has no reflection of what happens on Raw with a guy that's not even on the show in Karrion Kross and a guy that is one DUI away from never wrestling ever again.
Sure, but
so to me, it's like those guys. At the end of the day, Karrion Kross is not even on the. What did Bianca Belair say one time? Like, you don't even go here. Karrion does not go here.
Right, but he does go to one of their other brands. He is their champion. So to have him come and lose to somebody like Jeff Hardy in quick.
Who has been losing a lot lately.
It's stupid. It's really dumb. So what does that do for NXT?
Hey, it's a new season. If anything, this is going to give Jeff Hardy the ability to do the kickoff show for the next NXT in your house. Let's be honest.
Just
right?
have anyone else from NXT come. If Vince wants to shit on NXT, have anybody else, just not your champion. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe that was the whole visit down to NXT was Vince trying to sell.
Yeah, now he wants to squash his own. I mean, he's still getting money for that, so now he wants to squash his own TV show. That just fucking I don't know what's going on.
Well, I get your point. I do. I'm saying that I don't care because I don't care. But I see your point in how it's kind of ruining the cause of NXT. You know, you're kind of melting your championship softly by having him lose against. I get it. It's still I don't care. What was your one count?
My one count was Nikki Cross or Nikki Ash winning. Even though I don't care for the gimmick, it's clear that the people live there do care because she got a massive pop. People there were very happy with that. So the match, my whole one count was, for me, even though a lot of people are probably over the Ripley Charlotte feud, which it's over now. The fact that they did it purely it was all a build up for Nikki. That was good. That was a good way to finish that feud and go into something brand new. And so for me, that deserved a one count. I wouldn't give it any higher than that, but I was happy for her. And I was happy with the crowd reaction for her. She deserves that. So
that got my 2 count.
Oh, there you go. What was your one?
Well, I'll tell you, but I want to stay on this. Having Nikki end that Charlotte, the pandemic era feud with Charlotte, I'm so happy. I don't care about Rhea Ripley. Sorry, I don't get it. Like, I've seen her AFK, right, away from keyboard. She does not look like that on a normal daily basis. I think it's kind of like when people would say, like, about a contestant on American Idol, like, oh, he's the rocker guy. That's what I feel when I see Rhea Ripley. Like, oh, she's the rocker girl. It's like, gross. Like, who cares? But I'm just happy to see that something different is happening in the women's division. It's not Bayley. It's not Sasha Banks. It's not Charlotte. It's not Becky. It's not Ronda.
Right.
It's Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm for that. So that gets my 2 count, just to see that somebody, like, they're getting out of their comfort zone. Like, to me, that's a good thing. My 1 count was Keith Lee.
Oh.
Yeah. Match was awful, but it was cool to see. It was cool to see Keith Lee back. That looked like you and me trying to wrestle at the beach.
That's fair enough. I will absolutely give you that. It was pretty awkward. Though just the feeling of it, it actually got my 3 count.
That got your 3 count.
That got my 3 count. Yeah, it was nothing to do with the quality of match. It was all to do with the bravado behind it, like him coming back and to see, and that was a legitimate surprise. So that was the only legitimate surprise of the whole show for me. So that was awesome.
That was the only surprise for you the whole show?
Yeah.
So everything what was your 2 count then?
It was a toss up between the 3-man tag and actually, I don't remember what else I was tossing up. I gave it to Riddle.
Hopefully not a salad.
Right, exactly. I think what? I think it was between that and John Cena calling Roman Reigns an asshole. But that was it. I gave it to Riddle and Raiders versus Morrison, Styles, and Omos, just because at this point, anything that Styles and Omos in, I want to see. So
that was my kick out, Omos.
Okay.
That was my kick out, just because we finally saw what Omos's weaknesses is.
Yeah.
Omos's weakness is being distracted by his ego, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I didn't expect to see that from his character. I just the way that he's been presented, it's kind of neat to see how this is going to go with Omos and AJ Styles. I would love to see them turn on each other. That'd be great.
Right, exactly.
My 3 count was Cena's promo. Okay. I'm interested in seeing, obviously, because SmackDown got a little weird at the end. But yeah, I'm excited to, I mean, apparently, let's see, is he going to be, I think he's going to be on Raw tonight.
Yeah. That's what it said on that list for sure.
Nice. All right.
But we'll see where it goes. I mean, I like that they are keeping it, as you said, we'll talk about it on the SmackDown review, but I like that they're keeping it unpredictable.
Very, very much unpredictable. As unpredictable as AEW Fyter Fest Night 2. This entire show for me was a tap out.
That's it. Thank you.
Nothing about it made me go like, "Oh, this is going to be fun." It's just regret. Like, I'm wasting my time right now watching this.
Tell me, please, Isaac. Tell me how this show got the viewership that it did.
I mean, Andrade has Chavo Guerrero Jr. But I'm just going to hit all the high notes. I really don't feel like wasting my time talking about the show, to be completely honest with you.
I'll give you I can give you mine just because I took the time to do it. So I feel like it wasted my life. So I'm gonna say this. Can I at least say my one count? All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Jericho versus Spears my 1 count only because only because of MJF. Nothing to do with anybody else. It was to do with MJF on commentary and him and his promos. That's it. Jericho looks awful.
So bad.
My God, just stop drinking, you bloated alcoholic.
We mean that in all sincerity, Chris.
Dude, it looks terrible.
Honestly, like I don't want this to come across as we are being ugly or mean, but from how you've looked in the past, just looking from afar, you look unhealthy at the moment. I'm sure you're great. I'm sure there are doctors looking out for you, but you look like garbage. You don't look like Chris Jericho that we remember. Doesn't look good.
This is coming from somebody who lost 45 pounds since last October because I cut out the booze. That I look at him and I see that is booze bloating.
Oh,
I know that. I know that look. Like, dude, you gotta stop drinking. Like, it's not like you're cutting off years of your life.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not a health expert by any means, but some of the stuff that he's been doing lately, and especially if we're gonna have Nick Gage and the pain pacemaker next week, I worry about that dude. Like I said, I'm sure AEW's taking every precaution that they can, but he looks like trash. Outside of that being your 1 count, did you have anything else rated?
Yeah. So just for the I guess the spectacle of it, I gave Moxley Archer my 2 count. I know I didn't like the match. The match was garbage.
I mean,
but it was the fact
was garbage.
The fact is that title was given to somebody that wasn't an ex-WWE guy. I think that counts for a lot. Lance Archer has been pretty patient, and they have treated him so badly in that company. Despite what he says, he's had a crappy run, and he deserved better than to be put on the back burner by all these, again, ex-WWE guys. So I'm glad that he has the belt, and the setup with I forget his name, but the New Japan, the Bullet Club guy, right at the end. That got my 2 count for that. It's not, again, nothing to do with the match. And none of these counts, none of this was to do, none of my 1 through 3 counts were anything to do with the quality of the matches. Every match on this show either bored me to death or it just let me down. So, which brings me to my 3 count: Darby Allin versus Wheeler Yuta. Purely because I'm, for some reason, morbidly curious still by Darby Allin. I hate that Sting did that stupid shit with Orange Cassidy. I do not agree with you. He isn't good. I don't find him good at all. I think that he's terrible, Cassidy. I don't see that at all. That's not my style. I don't want to see another 150-pound dude can consistently get injured in the ring because he can't take basic moves. Like, that's not me being in there. I would hurt myself.
You're talking about Cassidy still?
Cassidy, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Whereas, like, I hate that Sting is doing stuff just to because he thinks that's what's going to keep him relevant by humoring.
I mean, do you
like
think
Orange
he's having
Cassidy.
fun at least?
Sure, but
yeah,
if that's what that fan base wants is to tune in so they can watch wrestlers have fun. That's not why I ever watched wrestling, is to watch wrestlers have fun. I watch wrestling to see angry characters beat the crap out of each other in good storylines. I could give a crap about seeing 62-year-old Sting have fun in the twilight years of his. I just don't care. Like that's me. That's fine. That's
do you think he's disrespecting his past?
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do too. Sometimes. I mean, I'm happy for the guy that he's still in the business, and apparently he's making decent money at it. I don't think he would come out of for nothing.
No,
so that's cool.
Not.
But it's kind of like what Shawn Michaels said. Like, Shawn, you could wrestle another match, and he was like, "But why? I've done everything. That would ruin my character's story arc."
And it did. And it did when they did the Saudi shit.
It did.
Yeah.
He looked awful. Goldberg, heed his advice, please. I'm tired of it.
Please go away, Goldberg. Yeah, I had to tap out.
Okay.
Of course I had to tap out. Tap out was Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose. I could do with never seeing Nyla Rose ever wrestling ever again.
Yeah, I didn't care about Chris Jericho and Shawn Spears because there's no reason for me to care about Shawn Spears versus Chris Jericho or Chris Jericho versus Shawn Spears.
Yeah.
I know it's the 5 matches of Hercules or what the hell is this thing that they're doing? What is it called? It doesn't matter.
The 5 labors of crap.
The 5 labors of Jericho. All right, here's 5 labors. Lose weight, stop drinking, get in better shape, actually wrestle, and maybe retire. Those are your 5 labors, Chris. The match between Moxley and Lance Archer, I'm happy for Lance. That's huge. But the match was so stupid. Dean, Ambrose, John Moxley, whatever you want to be called. Do you remember when you could actually make money and not stab people in the head with a fork? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what that was like? When you were respected for being an in-ring athlete? Yeah, you were part of the Shield. Yeah, you worked with Roman and you worked with Seth, and you had matches with Chris Jericho where there was a potted plant involved. Back then, I thought your ridiculous character had more to do with WWE not knowing what to do with you.
Yeah.
But now I realize you don't know what to do with yourself.
Right.
So you're out here stabbing Lance Hoyt with a fork.
Yeah.
Dude, you were way cooler when I didn't know you.
Yeah.
And now that I know that who you are deep down, and you just want to do this stupid,
it's a really good way of putting that.
I just don't care about you anymore, bro. I hate that because I'm sure you're a great guy. You're probably going to be an incredible husband and an incredible father. I have all the respect in the world for you in that arena of your life. But as a professional wrestler, get off my TV.
Yes.
Just get off my TV. Darby Allin, I thought you were really cool. Now that you're not the TNT champion, anymore, I just don't care. You're just a small guy that's into weird stuff.
I'm trying to care. I'm still trying to care. Like there's something still captivating about him. It's just he loses it when he is in the ring with Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy. That's what I'm saying.
Wheeler Yuta sounds like a partnership between 2 colleges.
Absolutely.
I love it how we're not even talking about the Doc Gallows Frankie Kazarian match because why?
Yeah,
it was to set up another promo segment.
I know, and
so dumb.
There were a couple of reasons why this is really hard. I had to choose stuff for my
Right.
cat, and it would if I had the option to just be like I hated this whole show and they're not getting anything, which I guess I do have that option, but
You do.
I wanted to make an effort and watch it. So it did get my kick out. The only reason it got my kick out is because there was nothing grossly offensive about the match itself. It was short, the way it should have been. Gallows won, which he should have because he's freaking twice the size as Kazarian. So, that in that respect, that stuff made sense. But outside of that, it was boring. I don't care about either of these wrestlers. So
the crowd didn't even care.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fighter Fest Night 2. Exactly. Yeah. I'm giving that I'm just going to give it a thumbs down. I'm not even going to say 5 out of 10. I'm just going to thumbs down. It's just, I don't care. I hope it's better this week. Do you want to talk about SmackDown now?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to hit you with my tap out first.
Okay.
Baron Corbin.
Same.
Don't care.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Yep.
Tap out.
That was
Angelo Dawkins.
You mean your kick out?
Kick out. Sorry. Kick out. Angelo Dawkins defeating Chad Gable.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'll tell you why this was my kick out. If you guys didn't watch SmackDown, they held a couple of matches at the Rolling Loud Festival.
Yeah.
This was very interesting because there is a thrust in the middle of this stage that kind of goes in, like if you're familiar with this, front of stage, where all the fans are, the barricade, and then front of house. It extended almost probably 25 yards in front of house.
Mm-hmm.
For the entrances, the wrestlers would come out stage right, walk all the way down the entrance ramp, then come back and get in the ring. Super awkward.
It was a fashion runway. That's what it was. It was a catwalk.
It was a catwalk. Yeah. It was yeah. But I enjoy that match because it was two guys that could have a very stiff wrestling match in front of a crowd that probably didn't know what to do with this information.
Probably. I mean,
so I thought that was kind of a yeah, exactly.
I did not know what to do.
Yeah, and I think like there was, I would say a good 10% of that crowd was like, no shit, this is kind of cool. Everybody else was like, what's happening?
Exactly.
Everybody's on ecstasy talking about deep-rooted issues.
That's okay.
That was my
that was your kick out.
That was my kick. What about you?
Honestly, I'm gonna say Rolling Loud anything for me was my count out.
Okay.
I appreciate what they're doing, so I'm gonna give them that credit. Is that they're doing something completely off the wall and different, which that's cool. But not everything's gonna work, and
no,
I don't think that was worth the time and the effort in front of a festival crowd. That why would they care about pro wrestling? Like that's like going and expecting most of the people that go to a fair to go and sit through the free wrestling match in the tent at the back. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that, the midget wrestling, like I don't think that people cared that much. I mean, every time they panned to the crowd, it was just silence. It was awkward. Right. And personally, I think despite the quality of the match with Dawkins and Gable, I think that all of those wrestlers, including Bianca Belair, deserve more than to do that. I think if they were going to do a showcase, they should have done it with people that didn't matter at all. That's my personal opinion. But my kick out, I'll say my kick out was actually Edge and Rollins. And I totally respect if you don't agree. I know that Rollins annoys a lot of people, and he annoys me too. What got me was their face off. Rollins' character in front of TV screens was the most annoying, boring thing I've seen in a long time. But
yeah, he gets a lot of good interaction with a live audience.
Yeah, seeing this character that he's developed in the COVID era in front of a live audience, I'm like, oh, I kind of see how this works now. Okay, so the interaction with him and Edge, I kind of liked it, and I just want to see where it goes. So that got my kick out. So
well, I would agree with you on that. As far as I'll make that my kick out. To be honest,
that's great.
Here's what I like about it. I don't think that it's anything different for Seth. I think this is the same Seth that we had pre Monday Night Messiah.
Yeah.
And we kind of saw that with the Burn It Down being back in his theme music. I miss the old theme music.
Me too.
He should have never changed it. That's just one of those, don't change.
Hey, maybe it'll come back.
And they brought back Jeff Hardy's horrible music.
Ooh, yes.
What was your one count?
My one count was seeing the stark difference between the quality of women's wrestling to watch Toni Storm's debut versus Zelina Vega in a not super competitive but it wasn't a total squash, but it was a good women's match that showcased Toni Storm as being the dominant, and it was awesome. I like her. She looked like she lays her shit in, and it's great.
Yeah.
That was my one count.
I'm for it. I'm for it. She wrestling Zelina Vega and let's talk about that defeating Zelina Vega. Huge difference in size.
Huge. Yeah.
Huge. I mean, when this match started, I was like, I know who's going to win this one.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's worthy of a count at all.
And that's fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know. My one count was Bianca Belair and Carmella.
You see, I think honestly, man, had it not been at Rolling Loud, it would have got my one count because I love Bianca Belair and they put on a better match for sure, but it was at Rolling Loud Fest and that was weird. So
yes.
So I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you as far as match quality. That should have got my one count, but it was in the wrong arena. Toni Storm debuting versus Zelina Vega should have been at Rolling Loud Fest.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about people going to bed.
Yeah.
The buzz has worn off.
Yeah.
What was your 2 count?
I had Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn. I loved the match.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That was probably the most snug match I've seen in a long time on any show.
Yeah, but they're both great. You know that. We both know that. We knew that was already going to be good, so that was great.
It's a no-brainer, right? Mm-hmm. It's Finn fucking Balor, brother. Prince. Speaking of the 3 count, and I think we're on the same page on this. Heyman, John Cena, Roman Reigns, dude, there have been so many memes about that.
Yes.
That's been great. I thought it was kind of interesting, and this is just stupid, to see Roman Reigns in a white t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about sexual positions, albeit, but that was kind of interesting. The biggest cliffhanger, though, was John Cena Roman Reigns denying John Cena.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we get Finn Balor's music.
Yeah.
And he's out there looking super cool in a leather jacket and says, "How about me?" And Roman accepts. What?
Yeah.
What are we doing? That was the coolest thing that happened all week.
Swerve.
AEW could not. Yeah. Big time swerve. So we talked about it at the beginning of the show. We've got the Summer of Cena going on right now. It's happening.
Yeah.
But yet we get on SmackDown like, no. Finn Balor's accepting and John Cena or Roman Reigns is rejecting John Cena. How do you book that? Does Vince McMahon come out and tell Finn Balor that he's not best for business?
I hope not.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to hear that again.
I mean, to make it a 3-way, we could get really interesting with, and then John Cena sides with Finn Balor. Like, no. Let Finn take on Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. I'm good. I'm just happy to be here, right here in Pittsburgh.
Exactly. That's a really good question. I think the obvious for me is the triple threat is that Cena makes his way into this match by adding himself. I think that to build him up and to say the things that he said on Raw would be a huge letdown if he ended up just not being in the picture at all. So I think this is where this is going to a triple threat, which is fine. They've done the unexpected part and bringing Balor into it. So
yeah, big time. Like when that happened, when his music hit, I was like, no shit.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've thought that way on WWE programming. Let us know if you agree. If that was the moment where you're like, oh, interesting. It felt good, man. It felt good to have the question mark. And after a week of shit, it was nice to kind of have this like, no. Next week. Sorry. We know this week was awful. We had some scheduling conflicts with different wrestlers. Cody Rhodes wasn't even on the show, except for some pre-tapes. But yeah, quite a crazy week, man. Nikki Ash is the SmackDown or Raw Women's Champion. We saw wrestlers wrestle in front of a bunch of hip hop fans that did not care. Baron Corbin is still broke.
We saw Oldberg. Well, no, actually, Oldberg wasn't on this show, was he? Oh, yes, he was.
And he didn't even make any count.
He didn't even know, because why would he?
Why would he? We don't care.
I want to talk about this real fast before we wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice? And yes, I am fully aware that the WWE sometimes pipes through chants, but this was not piped through. Did you notice the pop that Goldberg got and that still manages to get? Why?
I don't get it.
I don't understand. What?
I don't. Yeah, I just don't get it.
How does it not have go away heat with that whole crowd by now?
I just like I would love for there to be more research on medical marijuana. I would also like a lot of research to be done on the brains and mental well-being of professional wrestling fans, because including us, I'm constantly confused as to why certain just ridiculous phenomena like the Goldberg pop still being a thing.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Why did they
Because
care?
It's Goldberg? Great. So what? Like, that happened so long ago, and he was not part of the invasion.
Right.
He shows up, barely does anything, probably gets paid a fuck ton of money. He probably emotionally scarred his son for the rest of his life by being a part of that stupid fucking storyline the last time he was here.
Yeah.
So I don't care. I'm hey, happy for you, bro. That's super cool. You get to come back. You're still doing this thing. You still like the business, but I know you don't care like somebody else, like, I don't know, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Like how he cares about professional wrestling. How he gives, I'm sure he does still, to the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard about anything, at least to my knowledge. I'm sorry, I'm going to get off the whole. I really just don't like Goldberg.
No,
I don't. I don't care. Do you care?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm the same way. He's always been pretty open about the fact that he doesn't care about the wrestling business. He cares about his wallet. That's it.
Yeah. Oh God, who's next? I tell you who's next. The sofa, pal. I don't care. And just look at, right. John Cena is back for a one run, and it's not just 3 TV shows and a pay-per-view. He's doing house shows because he truly loves and appreciates the business and is giving a nod, to everybody. He's a great guy.
Yeah. He needs a tan.
Yeah, he was looking a little.
Got some pasty white stems going on.
His legs did not look good. I think this might be the first time I've ever said this. I might be more tan than Cena.
You're
right
looking
now.
like you got some sun.
I'm out in the yard literally every day.
Get that vitamin D.
Please stay. In more ways than one. Folks, is there anything left to touch on?
No.
I think we've talked about everything.
No, it's going to be a very interesting next few weeks in wrestling for sure. I'll say this. If there's never been more proof that Tony Khan is literally just throwing his money and doing whatever he wants to do to be relevant and with no seeming super long-term plan. I think that's what's been proven. And if both Daniel Bryan and CM Punk get signed, I think that proves it for me once and for all. He just wants to be relevant. That's it. He just wants everybody to work for him. You and I could book this. You and I could book AEW, do exactly the same thing. If we had his pocketbook, this is what we would be doing as fans. That's it.
Yeah.
That it is.
You can't fault him for that drive, though.
It's just not. But it's just not professional. All I see is disaster in the long run. I see another WCW. Like he's just going to give power to everybody, and everyone's going to have their own input, and then it's going to all start clashing soon.
To me, I think it's a little different. They had a proof of concept, which was All In.
Mm-hmm.
It was successful. The bet with Tony had a bunch of money. That's been the thing that even Cornette's talked about. He was like, you always had guys that could do it. You just never had the money.
Yeah.
You never had the TV. Well, those two things showed up with Tony Khan, the money and the TV. What also showed up was Tony Khan saying like, no, I want to book this, but I'm also going to have executive vice presidents. Those executive vice presidents were pretty much all of the top independent talent that a lot of people had refused.
Yeah.
So you get this upstart of a federation. We're now almost 2 years in, and on the horizon are two of the biggest signings that could happen for any professional wrestling association, company, whatever, on probably in history.
Yeah.
The closest would probably be Hogan, in my opinion. Now, people are going to say, well, that's BS. There was a lot more people watching wrestling when Hogan was around. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. They're not now, but they could be, because there were a lot more people watching CM Punk and Daniel Bryan in their heyday, which wasn't that long ago, less than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now we have the option to have CM Punk back in wrestling and Daniel Bryan wrestling other people and not having the same stupid matches against The Miz or somebody on, SmackDown. To me, I think this is Tony Khan's only chance to make it happen. I think all the success they've had thus far is fantastic. It's been great. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. You got a TV deal. You got a second TV show coming out. You got hundreds of thousands of hours consumed on YouTube. You've got a loyal fan base that keeps the lights running with merch. With the general manager game, there was I don't have the number in front of me. They've made a shit ton of money off that game with in-app purchases. So they have another pay-per-view coming up in September in fucking Chicago. Mm. They're also 16,000 seats sold at Arthur Ashe Stadium, which is now full capacity at 18,000. They've only got 2,000 tickets left to sell out. There's 4 tickets available for their next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
There is a lot of money riding on this next pay-per-view. They have to get Daniel Bryan. They have to get CM Punk. If they do it right, their next round, at least another whole year of pay-per-views, they're going to sell a shit ton of pay-per-views. They're the last, outside of UFC, they're one of the last fighting promotions that actually sells a decent amount of pay-per-views. That's warranting them a lot of TV time. That's warranting them a lot of sponsorships for commercials and whatnot. That's keeping the lights on. Yeah. They're also touring mid-market venues. They're not touring 15,000 seat arenas. They're touring, 10 to 7,000 seat arenas. So I think as far as the, your money comment where he's just spending a bunch of money, I think he has to.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that if
he has the money, he has the money to do it, but he's just going to keep spending and spending and spending. And
it's wrestling.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, okay, I guess if any fan that's my biggest point is it's just kind of like the one company is treating it like a business. He's treating it like his own. It's just like a fantasy booking. I have the money, so I'm just gonna buy everybody. And that's
what
it.
is Vince doing?
He's treating it like a business.
He is treating it like a business.
He's certainly not doing that.
I think he, in his involvement in storylines and creative, I think is if he doesn't get it right, which I think he's getting it right at the moment, somewhat with a few key stories. I think Vince is in charge of maybe 25% of the stories. Everything else is written by writers.
Yeah.
That he okays, but I think to kind of absorb the heat that the writers would get, Vince says, and the people around him say, Vince is in charge of all of it. Because I think Vince is a sweetheart in that way, where he wouldn't want a writer like that we saw recently that like lost her job in 24 hours after saying some dumb shit. I think a lot of that storyline stuff that's going on is a lot of the writers, but Vince is taking responsibility for it, right?
I can see that.
He shadows them from heat.
Yeah.
He also protects people like Paul Heyman, Kevin Dunn, and Bruce Pritchard. I think he shields them a lot from all that heat because no, he's out of touch. It's me.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be on TV. He doesn't want to be mentioned. I think he needs to be mentioned again. I think he needs to get back on TV.
Yeah.
I think he needs to get in the middle of this Roman Reigns, John Cena thing. And I think that needs to build a Survivor Series where Vince, because of Roman's activity and Roman's behavior, brings back The Rock.
Right.
Where does that draw a comparison with Tony Khan? Right? Because we were talking about Tony Khan spending money, ruining his business, just fantasy booking. I think he's doing the exact same thing that Vince McMahon is doing. Hear me out. Tony Khan is building up and has been building up this war chest of a roster. He knew that it was going to take some time. I think, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. I think Tony probably had in the back of his mind, it's probably going to take me 2 or 3 years as any business to get an ROI. On all the money and all the labor and all the time that I've put into this, it's going to take me some time to build that up. He had the dedicated fan base. He had them with Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, Jon Moxley, Ibushi, or anybody else that's been in AEW that people are just absolutely, Darby Allin. He's got those very vocal minority fans already.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk and Brian Danielson, that takes his stock of credibility to the next level, to where if they book it right, all of those lapsed fans that were around when Cena was out, but they've ducked out of wrestling, I think those people come in and you see this huge jump. They're already doing great on ticket sales because, again, they're wrestling mid-sized arenas.
Right.
They're going to do great on pay-per-views because they still sell pay-per-views. They're not doing some stupid subscription model.
Right.
I think they're going to do great towards the end of this year. I think it's going to be must-see TV, mainly because of, A, how bad it can get, because we know it can get really bad. And who doesn't want to see something so stupid and have ability to talk about it? We're invested in this stuff. We've consumed hundreds of thousands of hours of wrestling content. So to us, being able to talk about it that way is just as good as us being able to praise it. So having that conversation about professional wrestling, I think he knows that he's able to do that. He's able to have mid-card talent go out there and be booked as heavyweights, and we still talk about it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what he puts on a show. We're still going to talk about it, good, bad, or indifferent, because it's something different. Now that he possibly has CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, that takes his credibility up to the next level. And I think once he has those guys in place, dude, all the pairings that could happen in AEW with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, and maybe even Braun Strowman. Apparently he was at some bare knuckle fighting thing. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
It is the grossest thing I've ever. It's dudes in a circle, literally, and females, fist fighting with no gloves.
Yeah.
Brutal.
this is everything you just said is what I despise about current wrestling. Is that there doesn't need to be any reason or rhyme or purpose anymore. You just throw everything you can and it doesn't matter. Because it couldn't get any worse. That's basically what you just, like, at the end of the day, that's basically what you just said. It can't get worse. So who cares? And what a horrible model to have for any business. And that's the biggest thing for me. This is
You're so right.
This is the opposite. You can go back, search towards the beginning of this company where Cody Rhodes said that I can't see any our roster having any more than 25% ex WWE guys. What is it now?
Probably way more than that.
Probably, yeah.
I wish you could have seen Lee's face, everybody.
I just freaking like...
He looks like a disappointed father.
I don't think that there is any long-term plan. It's just spend money until we beat WWE. That's it. And everything that they do just feels like rushed. We're in a race. What other choice
do they have?
To not give a shit. We've asked them as fans.
Look at who didn't give a shit. Look at TNA. Did they give a shit?
I think they gave a shit. I think they were absolutely trying to be. I think they were absolutely trying to be the same alternative. They just didn't. Yeah. They just didn't have the big TV deals. That's it. So
well, they didn't have the big TV deals, and they also the budget. See, there you go. Right, yeah. with the Nashville, how do you spend money to make money? How do you make $1 million in Nashville? You spend $2 million.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever. Right.
I know.
So I'm just saying, we might be saying the same things. Yes, the show is garbage at the moment, but that's because they had to build homegrown talent to see what gets over and what doesn't get over. Apparently, Orange Cassidy got over. He did a lot more in the, empty arena vibes, but there's still people go nuts over that stuff. And why not? Why not? We went nuts over Goldust.
Yeah, kind of.
A guy that's trying to just be a hipster and shin kick people, and with people chanting he's going to try. That's pretty fun. That's a lot better than a dude who's wrestling loyalty, wearing a gold jumpsuit and lingerie and like stroking himself in the middle of the ring. I'm sorry. I'll take Orange Cassidy over Goldust any day of the week.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, but we're talking like 20 years difference here.
But the comparison can still be drawn of how do you build up a federation? You got to do stuff that's different. Nobody would have ever thought that a beer truck was going to slam up against the ring and spray a bunch of people down with booze.
Yeah.
That was pretty revolutionary. Having these outlandish matches on television and these outlandish storylines and cross promotion, that's stuff that WWE fans have wanted to have happen for a long time. AEW is able to do it because they do have that budget. They do have the reach. Everybody wants something different. It is something different.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have CM Punk and Daniel Bryan possibly take it to another level. Folks, if you didn't hear that, that's a good thing. Any closing thoughts for this week in professional wrestling?
No.
Great.
I think we're done.
Well, the rain is coming down here finally.
Yay! And, there you go. God. It reached you.
Yeah, I think we'll probably get like a half an inch. It's still good. Listen to me. I'm an old man. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. And if you didn't enjoy it, then fuck off. He's Lee Howson. I'm Isaac Griston, and we are out of time. Yeah. Have a good week. Bye. That was such a soft ending.
Bye.